Hello, everybody, and welcome. I am Tiffany with Voices for Independence, Fitness and Activities, and I am here with another cooking demonstration for you. This week, we have been making dishes through the decades, and we are up to the 1990s. For the 1990s, many things were popular and lots of things were going on. Pop culture was oh so important as advertising became more popular and easily accessible by so many more people, because by this time in the 90s, cable television was able to be accessed by a lot of people, even out in rural communities. It was becoming more widespread. So a lot of companies were able to advertise on the television with commercials, and more people were seeing them, and more kids were able to take advantage of all the advertising and bother their parents for those oh so desirable items. One of the most popular things in the 90s for kids, and especially with school coming up, were those Lunchables. Yes, Lunchables were pre-made, portioned out snack foods that kids could take easily and transport easily to school or even eat on the run. So today, though, what I am going to show you, obviously Lunchables is a pre-made meal that you can just purchase at the store, but I am going to show you how to make them at home. With school coming up, whether you're homeschooling or they're going back to the traditional classroom where everyone's taking lunch, because I don't believe anyone's serving lunch these days, we're going to be having to make those lunches again, even for ourselves, because the idea of the Lunchable is excellent. It can translate easily to today as well. I say that because in Japan, it has always been super popular. They used to call them, or they do call them, bento boxes. Now, bento boxes are a single meal portioned out type of tray, whether used at restaurants or in the home, that they used over in Japan, because their main staple was rice or noodles, and then they were able to use the tray, because it had different compartments, to put either their fish or their meat and then their vegetables as well. So a couple ideas of that, and that is the same concept as a Lunchable, which had the different compartments, is that you can now purchase bento boxes. Again, I know this is the 1990s, but this was hugely popular to buy bento boxes about 5 to 10 years ago. They became popular. I have a couple at my house. One of them, this is more of the adult version of it, just because it's a little bit larger of a box. With this bento lunchbox, you open it up and it has several compartments. So you take your lid off, and it used to have silverware here. I don't know where they are at this moment. But your first compartment has 2 slots, so you could put something on each side. Like this could maybe be a wrap, like a lettuce wrap, and maybe some hummus. And then you had a second one that here, this was a little bit shallower, so sometimes I'd put like a napkin here, and here I'd put like some berries. And then on the very bottom, this would come off, and you could put a larger item as well. So this is one version of it. So you can have several things, or you can make snacks throughout the day, put mixed nuts on one side for some protein, put your main dish on the bottom, and then you can pack another snack in the top compartment. And it was super great. It all snapped together, and you could throw it in your bag and take it for lunch. They also make them for, children or adults also. And I had bought my stepdaughter one a few years ago when she was younger. Now that she's going into 6th grade, and even last year, she liked to carry the traditional lunchbox because she liked different things. But when children are smaller, this worked out great, because she wasn't really into eating sandwiches or large portions of food. So I was able to make this work for her, because I could section it off with each of the compartments in a traditional bento box, kind of like that Lunchable, folks. And she could choose different things she would like to eat for the day, and I could put them in here and make sure she got all the nutrition she needed. So I'm going to show you some ideas to create your own bento box. Now, you don't necessarily need to buy the fancy compartment lunch box. You can do this at home using a piece of Tupperware or a glass container or whatever you want to use to make your own Lunchable. So for this, what I'm going to do, what I would traditionally do for her, and what you would traditionally see in the 1990s in a Lunchable, would be crackers, some meat as your protein, and cheese with some dairy and protein in it as well. And they always had a drink and a snack. sometimes if you got the good ones, you got the drink and the treat in yours. But traditionally it was meat, cheese, and crackers. So for our Lunchable today, let me just set this here. What we're going to make is I'm going to give some vegetables because that's also important. I know that wasn't an option in the 1990s, but today we know how important it is. So in one of the compartments, I would always add some carrots or actually she really liked broccoli, surprisingly. So I put some maybe chopped up broccoli, raw broccoli in one of the compartments. And then I would always add, because the children just love it, it comes with these small containers too. Let me grab mine, one moment. These are really nice because when you purchase them online, they even come with your handy dandy container for those important dipping sauces or dressings if you're taking a vegetable or a salad in yours. So I would always make sure she had hers. Either she always enjoyed her ranch dressing because that seems to be a main staple in children's, at least ours, diet. And then I would give her some hummus. So I put it in the little container and it closes and seals. And again, if you're into not only healthy eating, but a healthy lifestyle, a lot of people are trending away from the plastic products. So this is a surgical steel, which is safe to have food products in. So then she would get her little hummus or dip, and that would fit right into her Lunchable, which we are making our homemade Lunchables today. And I would always make sure she had some also important fruit as well. So I would pack her usually raspberries, strawberries, or blueberries, which were her favorite. And I'd give a handful and put those in one of the compartments. And then I would make sure that she had her main dish, well, what she considered her main dish in her homemade Lunchable would be, I would get a cracker, and the ones she chose for her Lunchables now are just a Parmesan pita cracker. So now there's more variety, especially when you make it at home. Your Lunchables from the 90s, when you make them at home, you can definitely add your own favorite things. So then we just put her crackers in the other compartments. And lastly, what I would do is I'd make sure she had some meat and cheese because she loved to make those little sandwiches as we all did when we had our Lunchables. So I just get some nice cheese from the deli and would take a piece or two depending on what I had in our lunchbox or how much of a hurry I was in. Sometimes I'd cut it up into like neat little squares like they did in our Lunchables. So I'd take like one piece of the cheese because it's a nice size and it's a nice serving size. And I would slice that up for her. So she would have nice pieces. If I was being a super cool stepmom, I'd cut them into triangles if I had the time. So they'd fit perfectly on that nice triangle cracker. I like stuff to fit and look nice. So sometimes I take the time to do that. So if you want to, you can even cut your little pieces. Just like in our Lunchables in the 1990s, that cheese fit that cracker perfectly. And so you can stack your cheese on one side in your homemade Lunchable. And then I always made sure she had some ham or some kind of meat that she could enjoy on her crackers as well. And mostly with that, it was just easier to roll up and put in her lunchbox. And I give her a little bit of variety because I always liked options. And then you can always put what you did see in the Lunchable sometimes in the 90s were those mini pepperonis are oh so delicious. They go great on your little cracker sandwiches. And of course, because I feel it's so important, you always have to end with something sweet. So put a little treat in there for the kiddos and or myself because I would totally eat this for lunch. So there you have it. As we make dishes through the decades, although we brought it to 2020, we went with the 1990s Lunchable and we made the 2020 version of it. So I hope you enjoyed today's recipe. Stay tuned. This evening we'll be bringing you another delicious, delightful dinner from the 1990s. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.